How's it going, chaps? Right, bit of an update on my car. So, fiddling, I've managed to, well, find and diagnose more little problems. I think the main problem I'm having is that distributor. It's causing me no end of trouble. So I've had new set of points on it, and when I put a new set of points on it, I noticed the base plate, the pole the points sit on, has got about 4 or 5 mil worth of play in it either side. So that's going to be causing me an issue, purely because the points that sits on that pole, and if that's got play in it, when it's tightened down, mine, you don't really feel much, but a tiny bit of play in there is going to knock me points gap in and out as it's driving, which could be causing me the problem. Someone did comment about this, actually, something that I've already been investigating. The advance and retard on the distributor, it's done on weights and centrifugal force, and it throws out the weights and it advances and contracts and brings it back in. I have been fiddling with that, just moving it, freeing it off, making sure it's all working. And one thing I have noticed now, I've seemed to have developed and moved the problem somewhere else, so I think I'm in the right place. She is now running worse on idle and slow speed, and perfectly fine when it's up in the revs. Where before it was better at low idle sort of speed, pulling off, and it was, as soon as you got it up into the revs, it was So I think it's that advance and retard is stiff or not been used and not really doing what it should be doing. So now I think it's sticking. So it's sticking in the advanced position, which is perfect for higher revs. But then when it comes to the smaller revs, the lower revs, if you like, it's not retarding properly. So I think that's why I'm having issues with that. So I am now in the process of trying to find either a recon distributor, someone who will recondition it for me, or a genuine new old stock distributor. I thought electronic ignition, I've been thinking about it, and I'm umming and ahhing whether I go down that route. Ideally I'd like to keep it original, and I've spoke to a chap who does fiddle with these sort of things, and he was kind of lent again and was like, well, it's all going to work when it's working, but if it fails, you're roadside, and there's no way of getting yourself out of trouble. Where the old school system, yeah, very monotonous when it's not working, but it will still work even if it's running dreadful. So if your points are off, or your coil's not very good, or your spark's not perfect, but it will still run. So, you know, you can get yourself out of trouble, really, can't you, in that sense? So that's where I'm up to on that side. So electronic ignition, you know, I'm not 100% convinced on that yet. She overheated on me as well the other day, a couple of hot days, and she was really struggling with the fan that was in there. But it was someone's put an electronic fan on there, as most things been modified slightly to bring them up to 21st century sort of stuff. And the fan was a 10-inch fan, and it's just not big enough. So I've since bought a 16-inch fan, which is the biggest one I can fit in there. So I've squoze in a 16-inch slimline, though I went, well, it's me innit, I went to the scrapyard at first. I thought I'll just get a fan off something else for testing purposes, but they were just too big, so I couldn't get the grill back on. So what I've done is bought one, a slimline one. I can't remember the make of it now, but it was a decent one. You know, it wasn't one of these Chinese things, Spal or something it was called. They seem to be the ones that everyone was raving about, and they did the right dimensions I needed. So I got a 16-inch fan, squoze it in underneath behind the grill. So I've sorted that out and wired it all into the switch that was already there. And she's now running a lot better, especially with the hot days we've been having. It's now coping with that extra bit of heat, because there just wasn't enough airflow going through, and it was fine when you were on the open road, but as soon as you hit any sort of start traffic, that's where your temperature was just starting to get hot. So yeah, so that's where I'm up to on that front. So yeah, at the moment, advance and retard, new distributor, that's where I am. But I am loving it. It's a great car. It is a properly cool car, and it's quicker as well than I thought, but it's still not quite right, and it's winding me up. So I know it'll have a lot more speed, but you've got to have some, you know, you've got to be be have your wits about you to do serious speed in it, because she doesn't drive like a modern car. She's proper, you got to be on the ball. Makes you wonder how these people used to race these things back in the day. You know, obviously not that one, but basically the same design, and they just go flat out in them, don't they? But the other side of it is 70-year-old technology now, but it was new then, so everything's got wear, and you know, everything's not like it was. You know, if you had that technology now but a brand new set of leaf springs, dampers, you'd probably find it'd be a lot better, because it's new. It's 70-year-old now, so you know, there's a lot of play and wear and stuff in there, so it's probably not as sharp as it was when it was done. But yeah, she goes well though. She does go well. I've had her up to 70-ish, and she wasn't quite right, and she put it into 4th gear and she struggles, then you can feel it missing, so it's not getting the full power the full potential, if you like. But yeah, I've had it up to 70 mile an hour, and it does track along on the road quite well. It doesn't like the potholes. I don't think anyone does at the moment. Dreadful, aren't they? But yeah, it doesn't like the potholes. Jumps about a fair bit, but other than that, she's been absolutely spot on so far. I just need to get this running problem sorted, so if anyone's on there, knows anyone who does distributed rebuilds, or knows if anyone's got a new old stock one, what I'm after is a 23D6. So the 23D, and there's a 25D. The 23D is pre-vacuum advance, so there's no vacuum advance on it. It's done on the weights and the centrifugal side of it, and the 6 stands for the cylinders, and it is a clockwise rotation distributor as well. If anyone's out there knows who's got one, you never know, someone might just have one somewhere in a shed, but that's what I'm after, and I'm struggling to find one for reasonable money, you know. So that's where I'm up to anyway. But right, where are we on today now? Back to work now. It's Monday morning, well, mid-morning. On my way to Preston to pick up some machines, and what else have I got to do? I can't remember what I've got to do now. I've got something else to do as well, but I can't remember. Right, so I'll catch us all later on. Wheels painted green as a bit of a test to see if the colour's right, and it is. It's spot on. I'm absolutely over the moon with it. Like, I put it on driver's side rear just for testing, and I've took the other one off, so I'm going to have them all done one at a time, just so I've still got my car and I don't have to leave it on blocks of wood or something. Yeah, so that looks absolutely spot on for the meantime, so I'm over the moon with that. I was out in it yesterday as well, giving it a bit of a, not thrashing, but driving it properly, you know, really hard. And she's so much better in the high revs now, but she isn't in the low revs, so I'm adamant I need a new distributor or rebuild, something along those lines. I don't know if anyone on here knows anyone who does distributor rebuilds. If you do, give me a shout, because I'm struggling to either find one or finding anyone that will replace one. I don't want electronic ignition. I've decided against that. I want an original rebuild build or a new distributor or something along those lines. But at the moment I can't find any, so it's a bit frustrating. Bit of an update work-wise. We were in Norwich again the other day, picked up 2 machines down there, picked up another one from Preston. What else has gone? Forklift's gone. I sold my forklift as well. I don't use it anymore, so I was a bit like, it's just money sat there. So I thought, right, I'll put my forklift up for sale and I'll see how I get on with it. And she's gone. Someone was well happy. I probably put it up too cheap, to be honest, but I still made 500 quid on it. So I've had it 12 months and I've still made 500 quid, but I did get it cheap when I bought it. Well, that's the only reason I bought it, because it was cheap. But yeah, so that's I probably should have put it up for 2 grand really. I only put it up 1,500 quid for a running forklift. You can't really beat that, can you? And the lad came and bought it. I was speaking to him this morning. He's picked it up this morning, so he was saying, he was like, oh yeah, well, I've been looking one for about 12 months. He was like, well, I didn't really want to spend like 5 grand. He was like, you know, just don't warrant to use it that much to go and buy that sort of a spec one. And I said, that's exactly how I felt when I bought this one. I didn't really want to spend huge money because I don't use it enough. But yeah, so he was over the moon. That went on a high-ab. Did a bit of filming as well, actually, of it going on a proper high-ab. Hell of a lift on that lorry. Yeah, 7-ton lift and 3-ton at full boom. So it's still got a lot of lift on it. Yeah, so that's where we're up to on that. And what else is going out this week? I mean, I've got a John Deere that came in the other day. I've had a lot of interest in that quite quickly as well, but as of yet it's still here. I've got a guy who wants to come Saturday. I've got a guy who's meant to be coming this morning and he's now postponed. I'll come tomorrow morning. This is the thing with this game though, no, first come first serve. So even though I've got a guy who wants it Saturday, well, that's fine, but if somebody comes in the meantime and buys it, it's gone. I don't hold things for people anymore. First one here with the money gets it, simple as that. Don't take deposits. If you want it, come and get it, simple. So that's where I'm off today now. Anyway, I'm going to go have a look at some more gear, see if I can find some more stock. Yeah, but things are slowly slowing down again. But this is what happens, slows down, then it'll pick up again and slows down. But yeah, there we are anyway. Yeah, right, 2 more machines coming in. Just been and bought them. 2 Steegers, decent ones. One's a 4-wheel drive, and one is a Pro, like top of the spec one. Newish, so it's not the diesel one, it's a petrol one, but they don't do the diesel ones anymore. But it's the equivalent of the diesel one I had not long ago. Big deck, it's got all the bells and whistles, electronic, dash display, you know, digital dash display, all that sort of stuff. 4-wheel drive, yeah, proper machine. But yeah, so I just bought 2 of them, so I just nipped down, get my trailer and head back there now. We'll get a coffee as well, so I can do a coffee. And yeah, on my way to go and pick up 2 more. So I will have a fair bit of stock in again, which is good. Nothing worse when you're running out of stock. But yeah, so I'll be pretty much all out again at the moment now. My unit's full. These will have to stay at the house. Potentially looking at a new unit as well. Down at where I rent my one, there's another one coming up available, so I'm tempted to put my name down on that. It's just bigger, so it'll just, you know, land didn't come off, so we're still looking for our own yard, but at the moment nothing seems to be coming up, and they don't come up very often, so a bigger unit might be the way forward temporarily. Yeah, so coffee now and then something to eat. Right, so where I'm up to, sold my John Deere. I'll put a picture in of that now. That's just sold, being collected on the weekend. I bought 2 of them Steegers. They're both good machines, no issues. I've serviced them, gone through them all. They all seem to be spot on. So they've just gone up for sale. I picked up a Viking as well the other day from Preston. That's gone up for sale. That's all gone through workshop, so on. Nothing wrong with that one. Both quite low hour machines as well, actually, what I've had in the last few days. But I've just had an unexpected bill come through the door very frustrating. So I've had to just drop some of my machines quite drastically. So I've just dropped a couple of machines I've had for not a while, but I've had reasonably long, to absolute bargains now. So like I've got a Honda ride on there for like 1,500 quid. I've dropped a Mountfield down to 1,300 quid. Took out a good couple of grand out of my profit margins on those both machines. But this is what it's like when you have these sort of businesses. Sometimes things come up that you just weren't expecting. And don't get me wrong, I have got reserves that I have always. I try not to let myself drop below a certain amount of petty cash in the business, but sometimes you just start eating into it and you just got to go, nah, I'm not doing it. So I've just dropped a few prices. I'll still make small money on them, but it's just a case of getting some of the money back in that I've spent, and yeah, just paying these bills. Like I say, I've just had an unexpected bill come through the door, so I've got to try and generate some quick cash. So me John Deere going at the weekend will help me perfectly, and I've had 2 messages for the Honda. As soon as I've just dropped it like 750 quid, pretty much break it even. I'll make a couple of £100 out of it. Well, for the work I put into it, you know, I'll probably break even on it, but sometimes needs must. You've got to just try and free up some cash quickly. So that's what I've had to do. I could use money out of the bank, I suppose, but like I say, it's reserves. I use that for proper reserves. If the Range Rover breaks down and I need a car tomorrow, I've got to have access to funds just to go out and replace kit if something breaks on me. You know, if I lose a trailer or something, I've got to be able to go out and replace it, because that's my income. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. My wheels looking good though. I put one of my wheels on, that looks spot on. But yeah, that's where we're up to now this week. So not the week I intended, and it started to rain as well, which doesn't help on the sales for machinery. It really does slow them down, but then again, you can't control the weather. Right, so that's where we're up to anyway. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help if you press the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. That also really helps the videos. And if you've got any questions or whatever, put some comments in. That also helps the algorithm. And thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.